Don't be her mirror. Most men lose respect not because they're weak, but because they reflect every mood, every emotion, every storm of a woman. Here's the truth. When you become her mirror, you lose yourself. But when you stand firm in emotional independence, you earn respect she cannot take away. This is the Stoic path, strength that demands respect without a single word. Many men believe that love means reflecting every emotion of the woman they care about. When she's upset, he becomes upset. When she's anxious, he grows restless. When she's angry, he matches her fire with his own. But this is not love, it's slavery. You're not guiding the relationship, you're being pulled by every wave of her emotions. And a man who loses control of himself can never truly earn respect. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. If you let your emotions be dictated by hers, you've already surrendered your power. A Stoic man does not act as a mirror. He acts as an anchor. When the storm comes, he holds steady, showing that his peace cannot be stolen. This is the first step of emotional independence, refusing to reflect chaos and instead becoming the calm center others are drawn to. And to take that further, we must understand what true independence really means. Emotional independence doesn't mean being cold, distant, or unfeeling. It means your inner world is not controlled by someone else's storms. When she's upset, you don't collapse. When she's angry, you don't rise to match her rage. When she tests your patience, you don't hand over your peace. Instead, you choose your response, not as a mirror, but as a man grounded in self-mastery. Seneca wrote, "He who is brave is free." And bravery here means the courage to stay centered when everything around you tries to pull you off balance. That's freedom. That's independence. Most men mistake reacting for caring. They think reflecting her moods proves love, but in reality, it only proves weakness. Respect is born when you show that your mind is your own, that no one has the power to drag you into chaos. And this is why independence is not just an idea. It's a discipline, and to master it, you must start with one thing: control over your emotions. Every time you lose control, you hand over your power. If she can make you angry with a word, if she can break your confidence with silence, if she can control your happiness with her moods, you are no longer a man in charge of himself. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is the foundation of Stoic strength. The man who rules his emotions rules his life. Think of it this way. If your calm depends on her calm, you are chained to her every mood swing. But if your calm depends on your own discipline, then nothing and no one can shake you. Emotional control doesn't mean ignoring feelings. It means mastering them. It means feeling the fire of anger, but not letting it consume you. Feeling the pull of fear, but not letting it guide you. Feeling the pain of rejection, but not letting it define you. This is why emotional independence commands respect. It shows you are a man who cannot be moved like a puppet on strings. And once you establish this control, you can move to the next level, setting boundaries that protect your dignity. A man without boundaries becomes a mirror, absorbing and reflecting everything, no matter how destructive. But a man with boundaries sets the tone for how he is treated. Boundaries are not about control, they are about self-respect. When you calmly but firmly refuse to engage in toxic arguments, you are teaching others that your peace cannot be bought with drama. When you step away instead of pleading for validation, you're showing that your worth isn't up for negotiation. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." A boundary is the visible line that protects that power. It says, "This is who I am, and this is where I will not bend." Ironically, women respect boundaries far more than endless reflection. She may test them, but deep down she trusts a man who can hold his ground. A mirror bends and breaks. A Stoic stands firm. With boundaries in place, you stop being reactive, and you start being respected. But independence doesn't stop there. Next, we need to see why respect always outweighs love in the eyes of a Stoic man. Most men chase love, but they forget that love without respect quickly turns into pity, or worse, contempt. A woman may love you for your affection, but she will only respect you for your strength. And without respect, love cannot survive. The Stoics understood this clearly. Seneca once wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Many men waste years trying to buy love through pleasing, agreeing, and mirroring. But in doing so, they lose the very thing that makes them valuable, their independence. Respect is born from consistency, discipline, and control. When you don't beg, when you don't bend to every demand, when you hold your frame even under pressure, respect grows. And once you have respect, love deepens naturally. But if you reverse it, if you sacrifice respect in the pursuit of love, you lose both. This is why a Stoic man never mirrors blindly. He knows his greatest currency isn't affection, it's dignity. And dignity cannot exist without respect. Now let's move deeper into how emotional independence creates lasting strength in every area of life. The beauty of emotional independence is that it doesn't stop at relationships. It shapes your entire life. A man who cannot control his emotions at home will also lose control in business, in friendships, and in every challenge he faces. Anger will cost him opportunities. Fear will stop him from taking risks. Desperation will make him easy to manipulate. But a Stoic man who has mastered himself becomes unshakable. He is calm in conflict, patient in uncertainty, and steady in adversity. That calmness becomes magnetic. Others trust him, follow him, and respect him because he does not crumble under pressure. Epictetus taught, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom is not about doing whatever you want. It's about being so disciplined that no emotion, no person, no situation can break your inner strength. And this strength radiates outward. It builds respect, creates influence, and makes you stand apart in a world where most men are slaves to impulse. But the final key to independence is the deepest one: learning how to remain unshaken even when tested by those closest to you. The ultimate test of emotional independence doesn't come from strangers. It comes from those closest to you. A partner, a friend, even family will test your patience, your self-control, and your emotional frame. If you are her mirror, you'll get dragged into every storm. But if you are unshakable, you'll become her anchor. She may push, she may test, she may even try to break you. But when she sees you cannot be moved, respect grows. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "Be like the rock against which the waves break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it." This is the image of the Stoic man: solid, calm, immovable. When you master this, you stop being needy. You stop begging for love or validation. You no longer chase approval because you already own the greatest power: control over yourself. That is why a man who refuses to be her mirror becomes something greater. He becomes a man she cannot help but respect. And this leads us to the final reflection in the outro: how to live this code every single day. Emotional independence isn't about rejecting love, it's about protecting dignity. When you refuse to be her mirror, you stop losing yourself in her storms and start living by your own compass. A Stoic man doesn't beg for respect. He earns it through discipline, restraint, and unshakable self-control. That's why the man who masters his emotions commands what others can only chase. So remember, don't reflect chaos. Don't surrender your peace. Be the rock, not the mirror. If this message spoke to you, subscribe now and join the journey of mastering the Stoic code for strength, respect, and freedom.